Jobs, jobs, jobs. Everyone's got a job. Or do they? Is Ethereum a giant scam? Well, maybe those who hold Pepe 2.0 can help tell us what the hell is going on in crypto right now. It's me. It's Nick. Welcome to the Dictatorship. It's Around the Blockchain. Welcome to Around the Blockchain. It is I, your host. DZ's off tonight, but it's me. It's Nick, the better host of Around the Blockchain. And I have the better guests with me tonight coming from all over the world. This is an international episode of Around the Blockchain. We have the OG, one of the OGs in the green box, Firoz Khan. Faraz, good to see you as always. How are you, fella?
Oh, I'm good, Nick. Thanks for having me on.
Good, good, good. Crypto Lifer is in the blue box, but he's not feeling blue today. It's kind of a red day. Lifer, how are you?
Doing great, man. God bless you. Great to see you, man. Always a good time with you.
Always a good time. And in the red box by request is Crypto Blood. There he is.
You got it. That's my favorite host right there, Nick.
That's right. That's right. And then also joining us from across the pond, it is Interpret Crypto. Welcome. This is it's not the first time you've been on the show, but it's the first time you've been with me on the show. Appreciate you having coming out, staying up late, turning on the lights to be a part of Around the Blockchain. How are you feeling today?
Good. Very excited to see what we're talking about today.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about crypto. We're going to talk about some jobs. We're going to talk about some Fugazi. But before we do that, in case you're brand new, by the way, the chat's up here. That's why I'm looking up here. There's a big, giant chat TV. It looks fantastic. Shout out to Bobby for setting it up. Going for more of like a Dr. Disrespect, looking up in the corners at the chat, interacting with people. But if you're brand new here, what we do is we give out points for people who make hot takes, for people who bring it home. So just as a participation trophy, I'm going to give everyone a point off the rip. Oh. That's how we do it. If you like what they say +1 and their name in the chat. That's how I know to give them more points.
You just could have kept
Can we
it at
butter
0.
you up too?
If everybody's at 1, we're relatively at 0.
Look, Blood. Just
give me another one for stating the obvious. Just give me another point for stating the obvious.
Look, there's an affirmative action joke in here somewhere, but I'm just gonna skip right over it, and we're gonna get into the topics today.
Oh my God,
we're gonna get into the topics today. I got my topics here, folks. I got my topics.
Go ahead,
let's get on it. Here we go. There's a jobs report. ADP reported private sector companies have added a whopping 497,000 jobs in June, more than double the expectations. Per the report, jobs surged well ahead of the 267,000 gain in May. I have the story here. I'll pull it up so we can have. Oh yeah, we have stuff from Zero Hedge. From a sector standpoint, leisure and hospitality led with 232,000 hires. That's the story here, followed by construction with 97,000. Annual pay rose 6%. Let's see this. So here's where it kind of went crazy. Was this that expected increase by 240,000 after a 399,000 gain in May. So this kind of blew everyone away. I was on Twitter Spaces this morning and people were like, "OMFG, there's more jobs. What's J-Pal going to do?" And then we get Zero Hedge saying, "Hey, look, here's the data within the data, right?" So trade, transportation, utility jobs up 90,000. So these jobs in green, they don't pay that much, okay? They're not paying all that much. And it's also small businesses, okay? Also not paying that much. Information, financial services, professional business services, high-paying jobs went down. Hello, ChatGPT. Hello, Bard. So this is the data within the data. So people are saying, "Oh man, we've got a really rocking jobs economy. J-Pal, what are you going to do? Are you going to come down from the top rope and do some more rate hikes? We don't know. But whatever is going to happen, things are going to get screwed up." Let's talk to Faraz. Faraz, are jobs reports truly a clear indicator when it comes to understanding the overall health of not just the U.S. economy, but the global economy, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, when you look at jobs data, it is an important indicator for economy, but certainly not the only one. I mean, you've got to look at things like inflation, productivity, consumer spending, business. All of these you need to look at collectively to see how it's actually going. But one of the ways that we do tend to gauge if we're kind of moving into a recession or we see a recession looming is the idea that we stop seeing growth in jobs, because the main thinking behind that is that there isn't enough money in the economy to go around, so we can't carry on employing people, so people lose jobs, and therefore there's less spending in the economy. So yes, we do look at jobs as a pre-indicator or as an indicator to see which way the economy is going. But again, you need to look at it collectively across the whole of everything. And also the interesting part is some of the stats that you're looking at there, things like hospitality, you know, they're going up, the restaurant trade, you see those going up. We see that in the UK as well. I think those are some of the jobs that are much more, you know, easier to get into, right? Because what you do find is when you have things like professional services, IT, and I'm from a massive IT background, you know, we're not hiring. We're definitely not hiring. We've kind of slowed that down. Yes, this year, you know, there were some very large pay rises across the board. Some companies I know did it around 8.5% just for doing your job. So, you know, I think there's a bit of combat going on here because high salaries, higher rate increases. Obviously, that doesn't really combat inflation. So it's kind of a bit of back and forth. But me personally, I think we are kind of heading further down.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I see it seems like downside no matter what, even though this is good news. And they were saying in the Twitter spaces today, they're like, are we back to good news is good news, or is good news still bad news? And people were like, good news is still bad news. Speaking of bad news, before we get to Lifer, let's look at what the corporate simps have to say about this jobs report. Juicy.
Just a second away from the release of the ADP report for June. Steve Leisman is here. Steve, what do you have?
I got 497,000. I got a double take number here that you have to look at and say, is this right? That's the number ADP providing for their estimate of the growth. Actually, it's no longer an estimate of the growth of the BLS number. It's just their estimate. This is what they say happened in the month of June. 497,000. That's against an estimate of 220 for the ADP number and against 240 for the payroll number. Goods sector surging by 124. Services, what's the higher order than surge? 373.
Hey, Steve.
Crazy.
It's crazy. That's the other word.
This is not as held as close to the vest as the number tomorrow. Is it? I mean, when do people really know this number?
I think when we report it.
Just that the market was down about 100, and all of a sudden, before
Now it's down 228.
Well, it was at 8 o'clock. It was at 8 o'clock.
Steve lies.
It was already
down because you think this number.
You think the market was down all morning because of this?
It went down more. It was down about 120, and at 8:05, it was down 240. And I was wondering.
Yeah,
what
and
was
we're still
going
down. Thank you, BJ, for that clip. Look, the corporate simps don't know what the hell is going on. Lifer, do you think the U.S. is slated for further pain in the overall economy? Is a full recession and mass layoffs still a looming risk at this point? Or is the economy going to continue to shed its value and add more volume?
It's interesting. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Thank you so much for the question. Love having you as a host. It's pretty awesome. DC's great. It's cool to see you around. We were kicking it back in Miami last time I got to kick it with you on the couch. Great memories. So when I look at it, hardcore analysts that are like looking at the market and they're saying, we're about to have a huge recession, right? What I'm seeing now though is money printing. They're going to print money. They're going to raise the debt ceiling. Yes, they have to fill the TGA. If you don't know what that is, it's the Treasury General Account. Okay. Now, normally they would be pumping money into the stock market through quantitative easing, but now they're going to have to fill the TGA. So less money will go into the stock market. It can feel somewhat of a recession, but the S&P has broken a high that it hadn't broken through in almost a year. It looks bull market ready. We have technical analysts looking at the S&P calling for a bull run, right? Saying, hey, we've reached these bigger highs. Honestly, I keep looking at the way they printed money. They printed too much. That money's they're going to have to keep printing more money to continue the flow unless they want to collapse the economy and can completely bring the dollar and, reestablish maybe a digital dollar. They're going to have to do something and basically exchange the dollar for something different. Maybe Bitcoin. Whoever is riding the Bitcoin wave right now is sitting pretty nice. We're up about 100% on the year from that 15.8 low, or no, not on the year, but from the 15.8 low. What other assets up that great besides like MicroStrategy, which made the Bitcoin play, right? So I believe they're going to print money coming into late July into August. When they print that money, money's going to flow into the market. We might see a small pullback. I'm seeing a strong finish for 2023 personally. And the reason why I'm saying that is because of a weekly bullish divergence on the S&P that I called out in October. Ever since that divergence occurred, we've seen just, a mass amount of volume back into the market. We've seen good liquidity. I don't see us revisiting those lows. I don't. Go look and find bullish divergence on the weekly on the S&P. It's like once every 7 years, and we never revisit that low. It's just very rare. It would be an anomaly. So I think the masses are hedging for a recession, and everyone around you is talking about down, down, down. But I mean, the way I see the money printing and money flowing back into Bitcoin, into on risk on assets like the S&P, tech, Tesla doing good. I believe we're going to have a rally into the end of 2023. But again, who knows? You know, I'll look once. Don't say I believe, I think, and feel. I should throw that out. I don't like to say those words, but the charts are conveying to me, and the macroeconomic behind the scenes are showing me signs that there's going to be continuous money printing, which is going to mean that the stocks are going to, that money's going to have to go somewhere. And when the money gets printed, most of the people who have the institutions and the banks first, they deploy that money into the market. Just what happens. It gets to you and the middle class at the last, you know.
Yeah, they're the cannon fodder. They're the that's where the vampires suck the blood out of. So Kara Szabo actually said this something similar, that there's going to be a pump later on in Q4. I'm of the position as a amateur economist / elite blockchain researcher that the economy, when it comes to money supply, if you don't have both low rates and a lot of money, then you're not getting a whole lot. But if you have a lot of money getting pumped in, but low rates, you're basically pulling the rubber band back. And then once you get the rates coming lower, pew, that's when it goes. So I think we're going to have to see the Fed pull back on rates in order for all of that money to actually, or for all of that price action to start going upwards. Interpret crypto. Can you interpret for us here in the United States if the UK is feeling a similar squeeze in the job market? I know your economy is also, especially your bonds, are not doing well. So like, comment on that. Just like, give us that international perspective. And then also like, paint a picture of how blockchain can help with these types of numbers. How can blockchain and crypto, and maybe there's a project or two that can actually help with giving people more access to more information on a public ledger?
Well, things aren't going great here. I mean, I think things are probably going even worse here than they are in the US. I mean, our inflation rates are not coming down like yours are, and it seems like we're going to be in a problem for a very long time with this cost of living crisis. But in terms of the public blockchains and what that could bring, I mean, we're all trying to get more transparency. We are seeing actually in the UK, some news came out yesterday about central bank digital currencies and how we could have zero knowledge proof for personal identity and get that intermediary between the privacy we want on blockchains and also complying with KYC and AML. So we are actually seeing research into how to use blockchain and benefit us who want transparency, who want privacy in this sector, and trying to research that a little bit more and discuss that a little bit more. And I think that's really important because we want to use these public blockchains for good, and we want to be able to see all of this data publicly and transparency. That's why we have blockchains. That's why we are all big fans of blockchains. But until that comes, I think it's a long road ahead. I don't think it's going to be something that happens overnight, but it can massively push everybody forwards and everything forwards in terms of transparency. And that's what we all want to see.
Yeah, I agree. Is there any project that you think is in the best position to kind of take on that challenge of putting this jobs report data on the blockchain?
I can't think of one off the top of my head. Have you got one in mind?
I was just thinking of Chainlink because that's just like the easy one. That's an oracle that everyone's using right now. But like, there's other ones. There's other oracles. You know, I think there's a lot of cool stuff happening on Cosmos and whatnot. So it's an interesting conversation to have. And I think actually, isn't Tezos like in the California DMV right now, or a version of Tezos?
They are.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, great insight there. Interpret crypto. Now, Blood, you have a lot of opinions. You're known for that. Do you think will the Fed use this? Basically, is Jay Powell going to make us his bitch? Like, is there no way we're going to get around this? Is Jay Powell is he going to Falcon punch the economy until we're basically in a depression right now? Do you see depression happening?
Yeah, because we're in a recession now. They're just lying to us. Yeah, we're in a recession now. And by the time they tell us we're in a recession, we'll be in a depression. You know how
Joe Biden says that everything's fine. What do you mean?
Bidenomics, huh? Well, I just want to show some people some things here, man. About 3 years ago, I did a video. 3 years ago, as I scroll down there, you'll see. I did a video on ChatGPT 2. I know a lot of my viewers, this is a broken record, but for those who don't follow me, I try to stay ahead of the curve here, Nick. And I warned people 3 years ago, before everyone's a ChatGPT expert now, but 3 years ago, I warned people about this coming crisis, and we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. So I think there are so many, if you want to call it mega threats, that are conflating here or coming to a head where it's no way we can see. I have to disagree with my man Lifer. There's no way we're going to see a strong economy going into next year, in my opinion. I think they're just goosing the numbers. You know, if you take a look at, I want people to go check out this website called Shadow Stats. I know, Nick, you probably know about Shadow Stats and Mr. Williams, his work.
BJ, can you put that in the chat?
Yeah, that is a great site to actually see the real numbers. He does a great job with deep diving into the U3 or actually U6 numbers. That's the unemployment numbers. Those are the ones that they don't report on. The government uses, I think, U3, right? Mm-hmm. So he goes into a deep dive and it shows you his reporting. And this is just like last week, I think. He said our unemployment rate is at 25% if you do the calculations correctly. 25% unemployment here. So I think they can lie for a while because, you know, we don't know. It's hard to pulse it or gauge it on a day-to-day. So they can lie about the numbers. But over time, it's going to show. And I think it's starting to show. You're starting to see, you know, companies really starting to shut down. In my area, at least, I know it's anecdotal, but in my area, I'm seeing businesses shut down like left and right. So I think that he's going to continue until the lied numbers come down a little bit. So he's going to continue to increase those interest rates, Nick, for sure. I see 2 more hikes, no doubt.
2 more. Yeah. Have they been telegraphing 2 more hikes? Or like ever since the beginning of the year? Maybe hike. One more. One more? Okay.
Yeah. One more, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to move on. Speaking of getting crushed and scammed, we're going to talk about Ethereum here in a second. But before we do, hit that like button. Prove to me you are not a Fed and hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel. And while we're at it, go ahead and give everyone here a follow. We've got their socials in the description. Don't make it weird. Give everyone a follow. These people day to day are just slaving away to teach you about crypto. And the least you can do is give them a follow. So let's go ahead and move on here. Ethereum is a scam. I'm butthurt about Ethereum moving off of proof of work, but yeah, there he is. You son of a...
Wow.
Oh my gosh. If oat milk was a person. On a recent episode of the Bankless podcast, Vitalik revealed why he's only staking a small fraction of his ETH. The Ethereum co-founder stated the biggest reason was multi-sig wallets being complicated in a bunch of ways. That's weird. Bitcoin has multi-sig wallets, doesn't they? Lifer? Blood? Doesn't Bitcoin have multi-sig wallets?
It does.
Yeah,
why
for sure.
Why is it so complicated for Ethereum? Why is that? Anyways, Hoskinson, of course, decided to dunk on Vitalik. He took to Twitter saying he's at a loss for words after hearing Buterin only stakes a small portion of his Ether. More recently, Ethereum devs have discussed increasing the staking limit of validators by 64x. That's actually kind of a nothing burger. It doesn't mean you need more ETH to stake. It just means you can stake more ETH on your validator. The proposal was made. Anyways, we're going to move on to this thing by Dylan LeClaire, the largest face in crypto. Literally, the guy has a gigantic face. But there's a Zoom call here with Ethereum Foundation's Justin Drake, and he's talking at length about decentralization. There's a possible scenarios that we lose decentralization with restaking, but it actually doesn't matter. Maybe decentralization is only a bootstrapping mechanism to gain credible neutrality. We only need decentralization for the memes. You should listen to this entire clip. Don't just take my word for it. This is okay. Like, I want to go around the blockchain here. What is at first blush, when you hear one of the lead Ethereum developers say that, what do you think? We'll start with Lifer.
Bucket. Yeah, get a bucket over here, man. I was never a fan when it went to proof of stake. Never, but I'm like you. I think they never should have done it.
It still isn't.
It's still,
yeah, right. You're funny. I like.
Yeah. Okay, Jess, what do you think? What's your initial reaction when you hear this?
If he's only staking a small portion of his Ethereum, why are you advocating to move to a proof of stake network? That's the real question.
Yeah. Blood, what do you think? What's your gut reaction to that?
You know what? It really doesn't matter because at the end of the day, the market is going to pick the winners. We the people will pick the network that is the best for us and suits us the best right now. Yeah, it's Ethereum, but just because it's Ethereum today doesn't mean it's going to be something bigger tomorrow. And most likely in tech, I'm from tech. Most likely it is going to be something that replaces Ethereum in the future. You got the Betamax, Betamax, VCR or whatever, VHS. Right. So it's early. I think it's just way too early to, be mad at this and think it's all over because they're saying this, in my opinion.
Faraz, does this surprise you at all?
No, but still, why move to POS if you're not willing to back a big piece of your pie by staking it? That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
He knows something's up.
Yeah, something is up. And look, I've said this repeatedly and I get flack for it. Ethereum is the Netscape of crypto. Everyone's using it right now. Netscape ruled the roost for a long, long time. But eventually it's going to be suddenly not competitive. And then no one's going to use it. And it's going to be a dinosaur and just a footnote in textbooks. So the future is not Ethereum. For the long term of crypto, it is going to be for the next 5 years. So there's an opportunity to make money and develop on it and learn and get involved in crypto. But look, Ethereum ain't it. Bitcoin's going to be around for way longer than Ethereum is. And the proof of that is in something like this. I'm actually pretty bullish on blockchains like AVAX because they're just like, we're the big corpo blockchain. That's what we do. We work with Amazon. Fine. And at least they're open and honest about it instead of the Ethereum people, which Ethereum is basically controlled by the World Economic Forum. But moving on, let's see here. What were these questions that I have? Okay, so like when it comes to staking and do you think there is risk staking the way that they do it on Ethereum? Actually, I'm going to go to Blood. The way Ethereum does staking and the way you can do it with Lido, is that riskier than just keeping your money in a bank? Or do you think that's less risky? If someone has a bag of Ethereum, what are they supposed to do with it? Should they just keep it in a wallet?
Oh, that's a good question because at this point, the financial system, the TradFi system is fine. I know there's a lot of risk. A few banks failed, but I don't think it's really, something that's going to spread. I guess I would still go with staking it with Ethereum. I would say that's even better. You won't, unless there's a catastrophic network failure, which is very slim. I don't think you're in trouble there. Now, if you want to get more specific, is it less risky to keep your money with JP Morgan Chase or Ethereum? I'm gonna go with JP Morgan Chase. They are rigging the markets, they're rigging the system. The government clearly loves them. So, it just depends on how you want to slice that onion and cry.
Yeah, we will be crying. Jessica, I'm going to come to you real quick, but Lifer, go ahead and pull up some Ethereum charts and let's look at that price action here in a second. Got a question about that. So, Jess, you mentioned it when we went around the blockchain about Ethereum, but Vitalik doesn't stake most of his ETH. I think it's like a small percentage that he's actually staking. Is that a warning sign to you? And if there's another big blockchain that's supposed to be like the world computer, like the thing that everyone's going to use, who is setting themselves up to be not that Ethereum killer, but who's set themselves up to be the one to take the momentum away from Ethereum, in your opinion?
Well, first of all, the issue of him not staking all of his Ethereum, it hasn't scared people away as much as I thought it was. There's not been as much of a conversation around it as I thought there was going to be when this conversation first started. We did see Charles Hoskinson quote tweet a clip of this on Twitter saying he stakes all of his Cardano, but Vitalik not doing the same just does not make sense. And I think that should have raised a lot more alarm bells than it did. The other point I was going to make that was a good point that I've forgotten was that what was the second half of your question? It might remind me.
We're looking at basically, so Ethereum has set itself up to fail, I believe. What project do you think has the fundamentals and has itself positioned to take momentum away from Ethereum?
Well, we need to look at this, and there's a lot of blockchains out there, and right now we need to see what has got the faster. Obviously, everyone always goes for the faster transaction speeds, the lower transaction fees, but Ethereum also I do actually believe that, contrary to what you've just said, I think that Ethereum has got this top spot in the markets now. And I think that's really hard to compete with. We know that it has some problems that other blockchains have accomplished and performed better at. But Ethereum has been around for the longer term and has been around for the longest time, and it's put itself on that pedestal as the number one blockchain to build decentralized applications on. And I think that's really, really hard to knock off. I think something great would have to come around. I think in every single bull market, new altcoins come around. They're really exciting. They're the topic of conversation. They create the most gains, but whether they can actually knock Ethereum off that top pedestal is a really difficult question, I think, right now.
Yeah, I agree. So, Lifer, when you're looking at the Ethereum charts, is it a trade? It's almost like an $1,800 stable coin right now. what are the charts telling you about Ethereum right now for the next?
People that know me know my stack more Bitcoin than ETH, and ETH was the first coin I ever knew about. $9, got in at 89. I love ETH. I have like a special place in my heart for it. But every time I go to make a transaction, we were trading Pepe 2.0 this week, right? And last night I put out a call for it in my trading group, and I said you could buy it on MEXC. Or you could buy it on Uniswap. I said, but Uniswap will cost you $14. So why don't you buy it on MEXC for zero spot maker and taker fees? That's what I'm just saying, So so every time I want to use Ethereum, it will make me look stupid. You know what I mean? So I love Ethereum so much, but it doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? Like when I want to do DeFi, I think it'd take 5 to 6 years, but I believe Cardano could be the only one. I agree with her 100%. It's got too big of a name. It's the Burger King and the McDonald's. Like it's got too big of a name. It's not going to get knocked off, and it's easy and it has the most developers of any other coin in the world, right? So more people are working on Ethereum. So you got to give it that. It doesn't have a finite supply though. There's no supply. Like it can. Yes, it's going to be decentralized. More people know it. What happens if another coin makes people just a little more excited and they start using it a little more, and you don't get the usage?
But
if you got to get the usage.
Yeah, but Lifer, I mean, in a scenario with Ethereum, you want it to be deflationary because it's a utility coin. You don't want people to hoard it. It's not a speculative asset, or shouldn't be. You know what I mean?
No, but I want it to be deflationary. But what I'm saying, it's only deflationary if enough people keep using the network. You get what I'm saying? That's it depends. And we, like you said, like with your own idea, like in tech, that's why it's so hard to be a good tech investor. You kind of have to forget each cycle. You have to forget what you were in love with last time. You can hold a few, chain link, things, but like right now, I'm recreating myself. Like I can't hold on to the old bags. I'm looking for, and I know and I'm keeping money on the side for the coin that I don't know about yet. Yeah, that coin's coming, and it's gonna 100x like Matic when it IEO'd at 2 a.m. So it's only a matter of time, I believe, till like for instance, I stopped using ETH when Binance Smart Chain came out. I got into Cake. Cake went from 44 to 50 cents. It made me the cake man. I made money. It got most subscribers of my channel. It boosted me, And and then I started looking at other chains, and I was like, man, Phantom could be faster, Matic. And I started making more money because I started investing away from Ethereum because Ethereum was so slow. To me, it was just simple. It was, here's a highway. Everyone is stuck on this highway, and then they have to pay. Like I said it before, maybe on this channel, but you put $100 bill out, and the cop comes and opens the breakdown lane for you. Yeah, and they said, well, we'll implement EIJ 1559. And I researched it for 3 hours one night, and I sat there going over it and over it. And I'm not that smart. I'm not saying I'm a white paper genius here. I'm a technical analyst. I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but certain things are black and white to me. And there was no way that I saw that EIJ 1559 was going to take care of the fee issue because I just figured the blockchain would just get so much more consolidated, and then the big boys would come in, throw their fees around again. You'd be back to the same process. Maybe you got faster block speeds, but you'd have the same roadblock in the end. Yeah. I love Ethereum. I hate people hate on me.
I think Ethereum won't be the winner, man. It won't be the one we see.
And I don't buy anymore. Like I just keep it stacked. It's been there. It's just I hold it, but it's not. I'm sorry, everyone. It's not my thing. But the charts say the weekly break out. So you asked me about the charts. The charts say the weekly could break out. It's in a beautiful uptrend. Moving up. Like the weekly looks great. The daily needs to reset a little bit. It's going to do whatever Bitcoin does. Bitcoin breaks back up to that 35, 38,000 region. Ethereum's going to follow up to $2,500. For sure. And I see Bitcoin is strong right now. I'm telling you, another bank collapse, one more country adopts it. It's this close to getting even more and more mass adoption. You can feel it, everyone. I mean, I'm smelling it. The halving's coming. I'm long-winded today. I apologize, but I'm passionate about Bitcoin, man.
You're passionate about Bitcoin. Look, I'm passionate about Faraz getting a chance to talk because I want to know. I want to know, Faraz, this whole thing with multisig, Lifer, we love you. This whole thing with multisig wallets, is this like the jobs report? Is this like a Fugazi for Vitalik to just kind of do some hand waving and say, there's no problem here. Multisig wallets are why I don't stake. Or is there like actually a problem with Ethereum?
No, look, I mean, multisig wallets at the end of the day, you know, what are they? It's just if you want to move funds from one wallet to another, you need, say, 3 people to make the approval in order you can do that, right? So that's the basics of a multisig wallet. We have that across numerous blockchains. We've been using that for a very long time. I'm a multisig approver on a couple of projects out in the crypto space right now. So, and usually, you know, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. If you've got a treasury, you don't want one founder to have access to the whole entire treasury. You want the treasury to be split across multisig wallets because this is how you stop rug pulls from happening in the first place. But the other issue is, and you know, we've seen it time and time again, it really comes down to operational security. If you're high with your OPSEC, multi-sig shouldn't really be an issue because you're protecting that wallet, you're protecting that seed to make sure that's not happening, and you're making sure that, you know, all your other team members who are also part of that multi-sig are also following in the same line. Because if any of you guys aren't, then that's when you start seeing drains. I personally don't see an issue with multisig wallets, and I've been using them and signing them for many years, and even now I still sign them for a couple of projects. So I think it's a bit of a nothing burger, to be honest, Nick.
Yeah,
it definitely is OPSEC, man. OPSEC is number one because you take Dash Jr., the core developer, he had multisig this and that and all that, and his funds still got stolen. You know, so you got to have OPSEC be priority, and then everything else falls in place.
It's true though, because if you have a look at it, the only time people genuinely get hacked is actually the most simplest ways. It's either someone's put a keylogger on their laptop, or they've you know, left their laptop open and someone's kind of seen, oh yeah, because I'll be honest, you know, when I use MetaMask from home, I don't lock my MetaMask screen unless one of my kids decide to spend whatever they want to spend on it. But I don't lock it; it's always open. But if somebody was to walk in from my front door, then hell, they got access to all my degenerate trades, I suppose, on DexFuse or whatever it is.
That is such a great transition. Degeneracy. We're about to get degenerate. I have terrible OPSEC. Every time I've made profit in crypto, my seed phrase gets lost. And it's always on a boat. So like I literally, I've never made money in crypto ever, and that's what I'm going to continue to put on my IRS form. Yeah,
keep banging
that's right. Yeah, one day I'll actually make money in crypto when I'm outside of the US. So look, we're going to get super degenerate here. I want to do a shout out to Adam, who made the thumbnail for today's Blockchain Basement. This is probably the best thumbnail that we've ever made. Where is your God now? We're on to Pepe 2.0. Old Pepe is dead. Long live the new Pepe. What the heck is going on? We've got this. Pepe 2.0 hits all-time high. Traders think these meme coins can pump next.
Pumping right now.
It's pumping right now. I mean, it pumped, well, how many thousands of percents did it pump? I don't know, a lot. And then there's
6,000% right now.
6,000%.
When I heard about it, I was like a day late.
And then there's the Wall Street memes coin, and then there's the one that the blood is gonna rug pull. This is the Thug Life coin. This is blood's rug pull right there. Because like, look guys, you're gonna, this is your exit liquidity here. But let's look into this. Okay, I don't like meme coins. I've actually sworn off meme coins, but in case you want to be a full degenerate, who here is the most degenerate here? By show of hands. If you would say you're an absolute degenerate, go ahead and raise your hand here on this panel. Okay, Lifer is the most degenerate.
I got to do payment. No one's going to raise their hand. You got to do it. You know? I traded Pepe. I traded Pepe. I made gains. You know, I'm not afraid. So
I got questions for everyone. Faraz, what's your go-to strategy for finding the next hot meme coin? And can you tell us what your success rate is?
Right. So usually it is staying on top of it. Meme coins, they only shoot up when it comes to virality, right? That's what it is. So, for example, you had Threads being released today. A lot of people across, which is the Meta alternative for Twitter, can do Threads. I decided to sign up to it early today, but all of a sudden you had a Threads coin that suddenly started pumping. So you just start looking what some of the keywords are that are running around, and you see the Elon and Zuckerberg fights coming up. You start seeing, you know, Zuck Elon or whatever. These are really the things that you sort of tend to hunt out for when it comes to looking for the next meme coin, and obviously just hanging around, listening to some chats, seeing what's sort of buzzing up on Twitter. And actually, interestingly enough, But what you can do is there are quite a few Telegram channels, and one of the best ways to find them is have a look at when Pepe blew up, or have a look at when Pepe 2.0 blows up, or whenever the next variation of Pepe blows up. Have a look at the contract, paste it in Twitter, and see who the very first person was to actually tweet about that contract. Usually what you will find is that, and I did find it, is that sometimes it links back to a Telegram community that generally starts tweeting out, or well, not tweeting out, but sort of notifying out when you start seeing contracts or large sums of volume moving into a given new coin. And you can actually pretty much jump ahead of the curve that way. Obviously, after that, then it becomes a bit of a race. But there are various bots that you can use if you want to start sniping and getting into that sort of stuff as well. So that's one of the easiest ways, I think, to try and find the next best thing, is to find out who actually tweeted about the best thing in the first place.
Gotcha. So, Lifer, when you see this kind of like green waves, is this your like, do I buy now or do I wait for a pullback? Will there ever be a swing back up with Pepe 2.0? It's so hard to tell with these meme coins. Like, how do you judge what the future is going to hold for it?
It's funny. Like, there's two ways to bob for apples, right? You can like slowly try to pick one apple, or you can just go in and try to bite everything and eventually get a piece of something, And like, I'm on a, I've been. It's the idea that there's an old saying, talent, hard work will beat talent if talent don't work hard. Like, you could be super smart. You could be smarter than me. You could be more analytical, but I will outgrind you, right? And I'll just keep looking for the coin until I find it. Like, by going live every single day, I find the new meme coins, because someone will come on my chat and be like, hey, and you're live 7 days a week. It'll be Saturday night. It'll be Sunday night, right? So like, I saw this in a Cup and Handle, and I play Sammy Cup and Handies. Like, they call me Sammy Cup and Handle. I literally put this out last night at 8:45 to my trading group right there. It never hit a stop loss. It's up now 200% gains from the bottom of the channel. So I just do the same thing over and over again. I trade Cup and Handles. I don't even care. As long as the asset has, if it has no utility at all, it has to be tweeting by the millions, right? I'm not going to trade something that has no utility unless it's heavily tweeted. If it's heavily tweeted and I know everyone's talking about it, I'm going to make money off the masses. I am never going to hold this long term and think it's going to pay my mortgage, but I'll swing it. You know what I mean? I'll go in and out. I got in somewhere around here. I'm up like 150, 60%. I didn't take this personal trade last night. I didn't, because I was in another futures trade, but I put it out to the trading group. So I just do the same thing over and over again. And same thing with Pepe. Pepe coin, when it first came out, was in an Adam and Eve double bottom. And I like playing those. So like, as a trader, you get accustomed to similar setups over time. They kind of make you feel a certain way. Like, it's like an intuitive feeling to enter the trade. And so I've seen that intuition that I just use over and over again. Like, this was a flag too, right here. You could have traded this flag. So like, you just look for flags. And I could have slapped on a moving average. It probably was touching the 21 day. And if it's near the 21 day and it's in a flag and you got some support, here was the previous resistance, right? So resistance, it came down to support. That's an SR flip. Trade the SR flip. Then you want to know what the measured move is. Take wick to wick, flip it up here. That's telling you where you're going to go on the next run. Right. Yeah. And so that has a target of like, and so I just keep doing the TA, man. And the TA paid it. I didn't think you could play TA on these memes, but last meme season, we started slapping on coins that were a day or two old. I started running over to the 5-minute chart, the 1-minute chart, doing the TA exactly like I would do a 4-hour or a daily chart on a bigger blue chip asset. And they were playing out pretty similar. Once they get the hype dies, though, you got to use a little bit of your knowledge. You got to understand what's happening in the market too. You got to be a little savvy. It's a little bit of both, because
it's not the entry, it's the exit.
It is. Yeah, you don't want to be on the downside of that. So
when it's getting sent to a SEC, jump out. When it's getting sent to the SECs, jump out. Like, if it's been on a DEX and it's finally getting sent to like buy, it's exit liquidity.
Speaking of meme seasons and looking at flags, there's a country that put a lot of flags all over the world, and that is the UK. Interpret Crypto, as a member of the UK. So actually, no, Brexit's not in the EU anymore. So congratulations on that. Is meme season over? Is this like kind of like a dying thing? Should buyer beware when it comes to this kind of degeneracy? Like, yeah, there's Pepe 2.0 that's pumping 6,000%, but there's probably 6,000 other projects that are dead in the water. Or is this something for someone who just wants to get in and have fun in crypto? Is this a worthwhile thing to be putting their money into?
I mean, for people to get into crypto, meme coins seem to be a pretty big thing that attracts people into the industry. When I first heard of Pepe 2.0 pumping, well, not when I first heard of it, when I saw it moving this morning, I thought, this has got to signal the end of this meme season. I mean, we've seen a lot of memes pump within the last couple of weeks. It might even be a month or two now, and it's got to come to an end at some point. We've seen this before. We'll probably see this again. I'm not a fan of meme coins. I have invested in Doge a couple of times. I used to have my Twitter notifications on for Elon Musk every time he mentioned it. Buy some, sell it an hour later, leverage it on Binance, and it did the job. But actually, this morning I did get a little bit more of a taste for it because I noticed the topic about threads, as somebody's just mentioned in this conversation, and I saw that there was a threads meme, and I just jumped into it for a little bit. And it was quite a successful thing. And I've started to, maybe this morning's a new me, and I'll start investing in meme coins a little bit more. But the issue I find with them is that because they're so high risk and they have no utility, I like to jump out within a couple of hours. So the rewards I get just don't seem worth the risk. And that's something that I can't quite get on board with this industry just yet. But maybe there's more to come. Maybe there'll be more threads that entice me into the meme coin seasons.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. Speaking of more to come, Blood, do you expect older meme coins like Doge and SHIB or even Ethereum hit their all-time highs again or surpass them?
Ethereum's not a meme coin.
I know. No, but like Doge and SHIB.
I like Doge. Yeah, I'm not a like Interpret Crypto said, I'm not a huge meme fan. I don't trade them or anything like that. But I would say this, man, with the meme coins going crazy again right now in this cycle, it lets me know, Nick, that we are still in a bear market. We have not washed out the mania yet. So there's still a lot of, people doing a lot of speculation. So that's just one more indication for me to say, okay, we could see another leg down. You always have to just pay attention to your exit, not the entry. The exit is more important than the entry. And if you can do it like Lifer does it, hey, more power to you, but I don't touch them. Meme coins, Dogecoin to me is not a meme coin because it's dear and near to me. And it's an OG coin. I consider it just another OG coin like Litecoin and the others. So I would say I stay away from the meme coins. I know it's not sexy to say that, but it is. Hey, that's how CB does, man. That's how I roll.
Exactly. Well, look, that's all that we have time for. Appreciate everyone's insight here. Go ahead again and smash that like button and subscribe button to the channel. I think Interpret Crypto snuck in a win at the end with her meme coin, kind of pouring water on that fire. Appreciate you coming out. You have won the show. You get to do your send off. Interpret Crypto. Leave us with some nuggets of wisdom.
Thank you very much for having us all on. For any more nuggets of wisdom, make sure to follow everyone that's in this stream on YouTube, probably on Twitter, and now on Threads as well. Thank you very much for having me.
Fantastic. Appreciate you guys. Remember, we are all just spiritual beings having a human experience. Go outside, touch grass, call a friend on the phone. Appreciate all y'all hanging out. All you guys, all you insane maniacs in the chat. Flip a Frank, Flat Smack, Swirl OG, Bobby Vassie, Mr. Crypto Space UK, Shemetra Shaq, Ted Conrad, Crypto Billy, Just Jim, Fraudmaster,
Billy.
You guys are all great. Holy crap. Lifer's crew he's got let's just say Frankie Candles needs to secure more territory because Lifer's gang is getting a little intimidating. Appreciate y'all. See you at the top.